KVNU Game Day continues with Aggie Call. Your chance to talk about today's game. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Castelite, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and LSS Insurance. KVNU Game Day with Al Lewis and John Russell.
And not without a fight, but in the end, when the Aggies got down by double digits in the first half, there was only one other time they got it to 9 points. In the second half, they got it to 7 points down the stretch, but could never get any closer than 7. They had it under a 7-point, down to a 7-point game with around 5 minutes to play, and then the Aggies went on about a 2-minute drought of not scoring. BYU was in a drought at that time. And finally, down the end of the game, Utah State missed a key time of the game, missed 5 free throws in a row that could have made a whole lot of difference. And the Aggies dropped the game tonight, 82-71 to BYU. So the Cougars are a 8-1 team, and the Aggies are now 6-3. John, your thoughts on the game?
Well, came in as a ranked team, BYU did, and they did the right things at the right time. They moved the ball well, and tonight, sorry folks, hate to say this, they were the better team, but you can't shoot yourself in the foot like that, missing free throws.
I mean, and the Aggies went 6 times to the foul line and made 1 out of 2, and then 2 other times missed both shots, including Justin Bean. And Horvath, again, has not shot free throws well this year. So the Aggies scrambled, tried to get back in this game down 20, did bring it back to 7, but again, the final score, 82-71. Jalen, your thoughts on the basketball game?
Yeah, like you guys are saying, I thought BYU just did the right things when they needed to. They hit big shots when they needed them. They went up by 20, which is always hard to get yourself back in the game when you go down by 20. But, our guys were resilient. They got back in the game, pulled it to 7. But, yeah, going 9 for 20 and shooting 45% from the free throw line is going to hurt you. We got out-rebounded. We had more turnovers than them. We shot a higher percentage at 52%. Just field goal wise, but everything else, all the other little things, when it comes down to free throws, rebounding, not turning it over, they were just better than us in those situations, in those areas tonight. So,
Jalen, they were a 29% 3-point shooting team, and when I looked at that stat, I couldn't believe it when the game started, because I've always figured BYU's got shooters, and they showed it tonight with their shooters, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they probably just had a cold start to the season. They looked good tonight from 3, 46%. Playing at home, you're always going to usually shoot your highest percentage at home. And like I said, it's a rivalry game, so a lot of guys show up and play good ball. Nell looked good in the first half. We shut him down in the second half, but the way he came out firing was big. Johnson stepped up and made some big threes for him. Even Seneca Knight hit a big 3 for him at one point when we cut it to 9 and put him back up by 12, I think, or 10. And like I said, they just hit the big shots at the right moments when they needed to.
Jalen, it seemed like in the second half when the Aggies made that big run to get it under double digits, it just seemed like there was a little more intensity than there had been in the previous games. Did you see it that way, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought the intensity was good. We locked in defensively, made it hard for them. Like I said, I liked the aggressiveness. We were getting O boards on the free throw line. We were getting some O boards. We were getting open looks. We were being aggressive and getting fouled. Like you said, that's just hard. We're down by 7 and we missed 5 out of those 6 free throws right there, where even if you make 3 of them and you make it make 4 or 3 of them, make it a 4-point, 3-point game, now you flip the pressure back on BYU. So those were big free throws that we missed in that situation of the game too. But yeah, I did like the intensity that we showed. To be down by 20 and come back by 7, I like that.
I think in my mind, if there was a positive on the night, Sean Bairstow, pretty solid game all the way around, was aggressive offensively. What did you see out of his game tonight?
Yeah, I liked it. Thought he was the highlight of the night. Had a good dunk, had a good couple turnaround jumpers. He can play with his back to the basket. He can shoot threes. I think the more healthy he gets, and after a game like this, I think he's gonna get more playing time. He looked good. He looked good defensively. And I think he's going to be another guy that we could rely on to get some buckets from as the season goes on. So I think that was a big showcase for him and showing what he's going to be like once he gets fully healthy as well.
Because, again, he did give us 11. Ashworth gave us 9. Those two guys get 20. Starting guards Idlerock and Jones only had 14. Sean Bairstow's going to have to maybe once in a while slow down his game just a little bit. You know what I'm saying there, Jalen, to really, I think, be effective. He sometimes goes a little too fast on some things.
Yeah. And I think that's just, he played last year, but not a ton. And then this year he's been hurt at the beginning. So he's honestly still trying to figure things out. He's only a sophomore. He's young. But his game has made a big jump, and I think by next year in the senior, he's going to be doing a lot of good things for us, especially because he can score at all 3 levels. So I like that from him. And I think once he gets back 100%, he's going to figure out the tempo a little bit more. And I think he's going to be good for us. I think, like I said, as the season goes on, he could potentially be one of our guys, our second or third scoring option that we go to down the stretch, and he looked good being that option today.
Because he is athletic, can fly around, long arms, big guy. Okay, your keys to the game tonight, again, brought to you by S.E. Needham Jewelers, the state's oldest jewelry store. Lots of great gift ideas at S.E. Needham Jewelers. I always bring you the starting lineup before the game. And now you wanted to keep Barcelo in check. He was 4 for 12, 2 of 5 from 3. You can't put him at the foul line, though, and you know that, and we did, to cinch the game at the end. 17 points for him, so that's right around his average. But, I want to bring in your other one, the drives into the middle. A couple of times he took it inside and hurt us late in the game a couple times with his penetration.
Yeah, and Lucas did a good job of that, too. And like I said, it's hard when they beat you middle. When they were beating us middle, we were either fouling them, put them at the free throw line. They were driving and kicking out for good threes, and like I said, they were capitalizing, making those threes. And there was also a couple times where they would beat us middle with the dribble penetration, and a big would step up, and they would just dump it down to one of their bigs and lay it in or get fouled and go to the free throw line. So I think the middle penetration kind of did hurt us a lot this game. And your
other key was talking about transition defense. Find the shooters. When the game was decided and BYU got that early burst, we didn't find the shooters there in some of that transition.
Yeah, I thought they started quick in the game. We didn't find Nell at all. He had about 3 open looks and made all 3 of them. So I think, but as the game went on, our transition defense definitely picked back up. We made it a little bit harder. They hit some tough threes over contested hands. And when you do that, it's just better offense. And it's good defense, better offense. And that's how the game goes sometimes. But for the most part, I thought our transition defense was good. And second half, when we picked up the half-court defense and the intensity turned up and the aggressiveness got turned up, we looked good as well. So I think we just got to put that together in 2 halves.
A little worried about our defense overall these last couple of games. The second half of the St. Mary's game and this game, we're giving up too high a percentage shooting. It's not the Aggie way. And to get out rebounded, those are 2 of our real staples, defense and rebounding, that we've kind of lost the last game or so. So, Jalen, appreciate you joining with us tonight to analyze this one. And we'll talk to you before the New Orleans game on Saturday night about 6, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, John Russell and I will return. We can have you join with us. The text line is always available. That's 435-339-0321. 435-339-0321. If you want to text in, you can call as well, and it's 753-5868 is our phone number for calls. 753-5868. It's post-game Aggie Call after a game day continuing on KVNU. 82-71 BYU wins. Again, too many points the Aggies give up. First time we have scored 70 this year, not one a game for the Aggies. Riverwoods Conference Center, also one of our sponsors post-game. The center of Cache Valley for a lot of activities going on here at the Christmas season. A lot of people having parties down there. You can still see if there's availability for you and your group. And, of course, the Elements Restaurant with great food as well. We'll be right back to talk about the Aggies' second consecutive loss after this.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonated extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for...
We're now going to pause that because it looks like Sean Bairstow is going to join with us here post-game.
Tough loss. Really hard place to win at, but we fought really hard and came down to the end of it. We missed some free throws that could have flipped the game, but yeah, still proud of how we played and how we fought.
Question from the group here. Sean, what was kind of the deal there, do you think, with the free throw shooting tonight and why they just didn't fall?
Just didn't knock them down. Need to get back in the gym and work on it.
looks like the defense changed a lot over, from the first half to the second half. What was said in the locker room that changed that around?
Just continuing to play hard. I think we kind of got used to what they were doing. They're running a lot of the same handoff motions a lot of the game, so I think we just got used to what they were running.
Sean, you kind of got going offensively there in the second half, had a couple of buckets, and then Brandon got going. How was that for you guys to have some big offensive surges to kind of keep you in the game late?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. We just needed to keep it going. At some point, we got 8 stops in a row and didn't score on any of those offense possessions on the way back. So yeah.
Anything from Zoom? Jeff? Al?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Sean, just give us a read of how you feel, Sean, now playing and getting back to it. I mean, I don't know how much shape you could stay in with a bad wrist like that before, but where are you at with that right now?
Yeah, so I actually had a lacerated kidney, but that was more what kept me out, and the broken wrist. So fatigue-wise, I'm definitely feeling it, but as the game went on, I kind of got my wind back and yeah, fought through it.
And Sean, what you seem to be able to add a guy who can take the ball to the basket with a little bit of length and strength. Is that what you see you can do offensively to help this basketball team?
Yeah, definitely. Just really space the floor, opportunity cuts and just attack the basket when there's a lane.
Anything else from Zoom? Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, so there is Sean Bairstow, and I believe we'll wait for Coach Odom. So let's go back to the commercial break. Get 8271, and then we'll get back with more. John Russell joining with me. The texts are available, 339-0321, game day after the game, and we'll return on KVNU.
It's back. Jarek's Fine Jewelry in Logan is having our annual Pick a Pearl event. If you've attended this in the past, you know how much fun we have. And if you haven't come before, you don't want to miss this exciting event. For only $10, pick your oyster, open it that day, or save it for that stocking stuffer surprise.
Mark your calendar, Friday and Saturday, December 10th and 11th. Pick a pearl at Jarek's Fine Jewelry, 930 North Main. Just look for the bright green cars.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Only Daryl has a farm and appliance farm.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Why do Santa and Mrs. Claus shop at Daryl's Appliance? It's easy. Daryl's has the best discounts on Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid laundry and kitchen appliances. Get the best price guaranteed. Don't forget our no-risk warranty and feel the Daryl's difference because service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
See Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
The Riverwoods Conference Center is accepting reservations for holiday parties and events. Inviting you to experience an elegant holiday atmosphere, the Riverwoods Conference Center's beautiful new renovation is complete with new carpet, paint, furniture, and decor. And as always, with catering from Elements, your holiday event will be amazing with delicious entrees and decadent desserts that always deliver excellence. Whether it's a company or family event, it will be festive, beautiful, and scrumptious at the Riverwoods, catered by Elements. For reservations, phone 750-5151, 750-5151.
The holidays bring family, friends, and parties and more. How important is it to you to know that your house is sparkling clean this holiday season? Trust ChemDry of Northern Utah's hot carbonating extraction process to ensure your home is the cleanest, healthiest environment for your family gatherings this season. From carpets to hardwood floors to furniture and even granite countertops for baking. This is Darryl with ChemDry of Northern Utah. Holiday gift certificates are now available, and mention this ad for a free ChemDry world famous spot cleaner.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
The Aggies are always number one here. It's KVNU Game Day with Al Lewis and John Russell.
Yeah, John and I are here. We'd love to hear from you again through the text line. We're waiting for Coach Odom now after we heard from Sean Bairstow, who again led the way with 11 points tonight, one of his better efforts he's had as an Aggie basketball player. And again, I think he's a guy who does play more and gets more in shape. I mean, we all knew about the wrist. We didn't know about the lacerated kidney or whatever.
Yeah, surprise. No, he's, it's going to be tough for him to get back into playing shape. He's he's not been able to do the things that the other players have been able to do to get ready. But I think you saw tonight already. I mean, he's playing better than he did a couple of nights ago, and I think he's going to provide that other link that we might be missing. We had this comment from the text.
Okay.
From the text line. This would be from 6543, and it says, "Who is our go-to guy going to be this year?" And I think it's obvious. It's Bean.
Well, they went to Bean, and to be honest, he got his 20th point there late, which
Right.
did go past Vince Washington now to be the 36th, I think, all-time leading scorer. I think it is. Maybe it's 35th. I'll have to look that up. But he had to get 20 to pass Vince, I know, and he did that. But, again, he shot the air ball in the corner when he got that wide-open shot. And, I mean, you could just tell. I mean, I felt like tonight he had to work pretty hard defensively on that try-array and against George. They both kind of gave Justin a little bit of a hard time. They backed him in, tried to make him play physical. He only got, 7 boards in the game tonight. That's low for him.
Only
obviously.
7. A lot of guys would love that. No,
we have guys lead the team in 7 a lot of years, 6 or 7 rebounds that lead the Aggie team for a lot of years.
And he's turning around and having an off night. No, I think, when he has that defensive responsibility, which is going to require more effort, and other teams are going to zero in on him. I mean, let's face it, anybody from here on in the rest of the year, they do their scouting report. The first topic of discussion is, where is Justin Bean? Be aware of him. This is going to get harder and harder. So the text, I think that's pretty spot on. Who's going to be the go-to guy? And I guess the bigger question is, there going to be...
There better be somebody else besides Bean. We're going to have to have...
But can it rotate around?
Yeah, I mean, and, I don't know if Bairstow would be the constant answer. I want it... And Brock Miller had those 2 good games in a row, and now he's kind of disappeared the last 2 games when people go after him as a shooter. But the real key in this game to me is that 5 missed free throws in a row, and Bean misses 2 of them, and he is 35 of 40 on the year going into that game. Now, Horvath has struggled at the foul line. 17 out of 23 is 74%. I thought he'd even struggled more than that coming into the game. But, I mean, we have 6 times in this game we go to the foul line, you get 1 of 2, and 2 times get 0 of 2 at the foul line. Look at those numbers in a game that ends up an 11-point game, which is down to 7 at the key crunch time. You get all those 5 free throws. We're playing one-possession game with BYU going to the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, there were. I mean, let's look at it this way. We actually outscored BYU in the second half, 38-37. So clearly into that game. But what the difference was between the teams is BYU made the plays.
Looks like maybe the coach is getting close to coming in. They're kind of getting the Zoom back going here in Provo. Again, our coach's comments. Yep, here he comes in. So Coach Odom will join with us. And again, the Aggies lose 82-71. Let's go back to Provo.
Head Coach Ryan Odom, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, credit to BYU. I think they played extremely well right out of the gates. They put a lot of pressure on us offensively. They were getting the ball up the court really fast. They're really tough to guard coming out of that left corner, going downhill right down the lane, and we really struggled with that early in the game. Having Rylan and Steven pick up 2 fouls, early in that game as well, certainly wasn't the best of scenarios for us. But having said that, we still were within striking distance, at that point, but didn't play our type of basketball in the first half. Defensively, we were not really good at all. And I think certainly they had a lot to do with that. Their offense challenged us, and we were kind of on our heels from the very beginning. And then offensively, where we had opportunities to kind of settle it down, we had too many turnovers. Bean kind of kept us, somewhat within striking distance with his 16 points in the first half. And then, we were able to kind of regroup. We had to change kind of our ball screen defense in the second half, try to keep our chest a little bit more in front of them. I thought our guys did a much better job. Even though we ended up getting down right around 20, I think, or I'm not sure what the biggest lead was within the game, but our guys kept fighting, and that's what Aggies do. And, we got it to a point where it was 7. Our whole goal was, let's get it inside of 10, and let's try to begin to put a little bit of game pressure, on them. And I think our guys did that. We had it right to where we wanted it. And then, unfortunately, we just didn't finish it, with baskets. We had a couple of turnovers mixed in with the obvious missed free throws. And when you have such a deficit like we had, Sometimes when you're coming back like that, it takes so much energy to come back. You run the risk of missing some things there. But, unfortunate, that we couldn't put a little bit more pressure on them there at the end. But, credit to them. They made their free throws down the stretch and kind of finished it out. But I am proud of the guys' effort in that second half and in terms of their willingness to fight for it.
Questions from the group in here? Seems like free throws have, I don't think I should kind of fix that a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems like that was just, I don't know.
I mean,
It's weird as everybody.
Sometimes it could be contagious. We've all seen it. You watch sports long enough, watch basketball long enough, it happens. And the fatigue, don't underestimate the fatigue when you're out there on the court and you're down 20 and you're chasing them around and then all of a sudden you're beginning to get back in it. That's your time to relax. And sometimes you relax too much and then you see your buddy miss one and then it's like, oh boy. And so that's just a learning lesson for us. We've all been in those moments. We gotta hammer it home. We can't be afraid of those moments. We gotta knock them in.
Let's talk a little bit more about the defensive deficiencies in the first half. It seemed like there was a little bit of miscommunication on screens and stuff, and then how detrimental was that to go down double digits on the road in the first half?
Yeah, no, it was huge. I mean, they did a really nice job of coming out of that left corner, handing it off and getting downhill on us. And, we weren't switching effectively. We weren't recognizing the switches quick enough because those are technically emergency switches. We were stepping out some on some of the ball screens and they got us over the top, a couple of times as well. And so, yeah, miscommunications is probably a good way to put it. But, all in all, the biggest thing about defense is keeping a chest in front of somebody. And I think in the second half, we did that much better. And, so I was pleased with that. It's something that we can build upon. Probably should have gone to that a little bit earlier, in the first half just to kind of see. And we didn't do that. We just kind of stuck with what our game plan was initially. And we just didn't execute it very well, quite honestly.
Coach, your first trip down here to Provo, what's your thoughts on the rivalry and the influence that the student section had on the
Yeah, they're loud. Yeah, I mean, they're very loud, excellent, place to play a game, fun atmosphere. And certainly our guys were excited to play, and I know BYU was as well. And so we've got a ton of respect, for Coach Pope and his program. And certainly the fans are always a part of it. And these are the fun games that you want to be a part of. And I wish we had played a little bit better, than we did. But you got to give BYU credit.
In the room, Trevor Neal kicked out this first half.
He did. Again, it goes back to his question. In terms of the miscommunications, when you're in those situations with two on the ball and you're chasing it all the time, then all of a sudden those guys can get loose. And he's a good player, and we certainly didn't want him shooting open shots, like he did. And they move it very fast, and you got to try to keep up there, and we weren't in that first half.
Anything from Zoom?
Yeah, Coach Al Lewis down here at KVNU. You obviously Bean's been scoring. Horvath came on in the second half, and Bairstow. You need guys like that to really help you offensively, don't you?
Yeah, no question. Those two guys can play. I mean, Brandon's, one of the reasons that, we've gotten off to a solid start this season, averaging close to 14 a game. He was big in a lot of those games for us. Richmond, Oklahoma, the games in Myrtle Beach. We need him to stretch the defense and also, score inside. Bairstow, obviously, Sean is just coming back, and today was obviously his best game. And you can kind of see the potential there, that he has, right? He's a big body. He's an attacking wing. He can get to the basket. He's very athletic. And I think he can make decisions and pick and roll as well. And so we've got to put him in those situations. So I was really proud of the way he played today.
Hey, Coach John with KVNU here. A couple of things. You talked about Bairstow and Ashworth, good effort tonight, but really not much else from the bench. Just thoughts on that. And then second, you had mentioned earlier about, Ryland getting a couple fouls early. Can you just kind of expand on that and what that did to you, your team?
Yeah, I mean, we had our 2 point guards, with 2 fouls, at one time. And so that's not ideal for us. And, a couple of them, they were certainly the right calls, not questioning the calls, but it is what it is. It's just the luck of it. Sometimes we had that the first game of the year, we had Brandon and Bean, with 2 fouls. And so when you have, guys that are primary players for you, and especially when they're the same position, that can be really impactful for you. And I'm not saying anything about the guys off the bench, it's not like they played a ton of minutes there that they could really impact it. We really went with, call it, RJ obviously is in the starting lineup. We went with Steven and Sean. Trevin played a little bit off the bench. Max, he didn't really get that much of an opportunity, and to really impact it in that game.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, Coach Al, again here is their freshman, this Tri-Array, really hurt you at the end of the game with his physical going down inside. He maybe won the game for him when the game was on the line there at the end.
Yeah, that one play was big. Steven got switched on to him as he was rolling down the paint. And, he's a big guy, rolling down in there. We had handled, their, post rolling down in there on the sides. But that was the first time they had gone right down the middle. And that's really tough to guard, for a smaller guy. And you have to get help in there. Like somebody else has to make a play on that when we're in that situation. That's an emergency situation. So that was a tough play for us. But it goes back to, what happened before that on offense for us. And that was right at that moment where, we missed some free throws and had a couple of turnovers.
Anything else for Coach? Cool. We'll wrap it up with.
Okay, that'll finish up again, Coach Odom. Again, brought to you tonight by White Pine Funeral Services. That's James Stevens, Mark Thurston, and the others at White Pine Funeral Services who have years of experience caring for families in all walks of life. White Pine Funeral Services, whitepinefunerals.com. Again, the coach is talking about that stretch of time where it probably stretched out to more than 3 minutes where the Aggies didn't score. BYU was on a 5-minute drought at that time of the game. It's 69-60 when Horvath made the three-pointer. And then we get it 69-62 as Horvath scored after Horvath had traveled after he'd scored, and Bairstow had missed 2 free throws. So here you got a layup we didn't get out for the missed free throws from Bairstow. So you might get 2 points out of there, maybe 3 if he rebounds the second one after he made the first. So it could be 63 at that point, and then Horvath finally scores, so it could be 65, and then he makes a free throw. It could be 69-66, and then Bean's at the foul line shooting 2. So you can see that point of the game is really, after all the other stuff that was going on, that's where Utah State had the chance to come from 20 down to maybe make this a contest.
Yeah, the opportunity was there, and we heard it from Jalen earlier that, there's a big difference between being down 4 or 5 and, having to make a little run to get on track.
If you're down 20,
it's hard. It's tough.
But they had all the elements there to get it done. Free throw shooting, 9 of 20. It was the problem against Cal State at UC Davis. Mm-hmm. If they make a few free throws, they win the home opener. And tonight they make even 5 or 6 more, make it 15 out of 20, and it's an interesting game.
This is a painful loss regardless. It's nobody up here likes to lose to BYU.
Well, they are the 20th team in the net rankings right now.
And they're a good basketball team.
So it's not a bad loss, but it's bad when you've lost 10 in a row to BYU and have beaten a long time too.
And you could have had the game. But the reality is right now the Aggies are 6-3, and all 3 losses are games they could have won. They're not games, in my opinion, where they flat out got stomped and just weren't into it. They, against Davis, like you said, free throws, a couple of layups here and there, they win the game. St. Mary's, they let them in, despite going 0 for 12 from beyond the arc, and I think it was 26.
The Aggies did not play a great second half against St. Mary's.
But you've got to expect that. And tonight, a few free throws, a few shots there in the game.
But I would disagree with you. I think we were beaten tonight. And we had a chance to steal more than we have a chance to win. I don't think it's one we gave away because of the missed free throws. We had a chance to have them really make an impact. Not to say we'd win the game, because I think BYU had the upper hand most of the night tonight.
Yeah, and whether they let down or not, who knows?
So we'll be back with more. We'd love to have you join with us. Calls or texts. The calls are at 753-KBNU. The text is 339-0321. So 339-0321 is the text line if you'd like to get a hold of us on our game day coverage of the Aggies.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
There's no reason to wheeze and sneeze while around dogs and cats. The allergy clinic located in the Cache Valley Hospital and now in Providence next to the Bank of Utah have an extremely aggressive treatment for dog and cat allergies. Get the help you need and stop avoiding friends and relatives' homes just because of their pets. Independent physicians Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette offer Cache Valley a full-time clinic to test and address all your allergy concerns. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. The Cache Valley Allergy Clinic with 2 locations inside the Cache Valley Hospital and now in Providence. Call 753-7880. That's 753-7880.
My name is John Brenchley. Last year, my father, Lynn, passed away. Our family misses him tremendously. From the first phone call we made to White Pine Funeral Services until he was laid to rest, White Pine helped us every step of the way. The staff was there to guide us through the entire process. They were kind, gracious, and their facilities are amazing. White Pine helped to make the difficult situation of losing my dad into a positive experience where we could remember him and celebrate his life.
White Pine Funeral Services.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
Talking about the Aggies. It's KVNU Game Day. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
And Utah State with the loss tonight to BYU 82-71. Love to have you join with us, please. Again, by the phone call, 753-KVNU if you watched it on BYU television or if you were there at the Marriott Center. And then 339-0321 is the text line. You said, John, you got something there.
Yeah, just got one more comment, and or actually just got a second one. Okay. One of the things that I worry about, and we all know how Justin Bean, the guy's the Energizer buddy. He can just keep going. But again, 39 minutes tonight.
I didn't think he even went out.
Yeah. How long can he do that? And it makes you wonder about fatigue. And again, from 5-4-6-4. If there's that much fatigue and the Aggies can't hit free throws down the stretch, then that's going to be an excuse. Maybe the team should work with the football team's strength coach. That's
the finishing thing that they've always talked about. Yeah,
exactly. And this comment from 1326: we've been cursed since the apology game. What has to happen to break the curse? And
that's the game where the Aggies beat BYU here. And Utah State decided to tell BYU they were sorry about some of the things that got said or done in the game. And it's true. I don't know if we've won a game since.
I don't think we have.
We might have won one game since that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what it's going to take is you're going to have to play a better game than normal. And going back to the comments you and I were talking about before we went to break, I think the Aggies had a chance to win the game. But you don't do that. They played the solid defense there in the second half when they made the stretch to cut it below 10. But again, the key things, you have to not just make 75% of your free throws. You've got to make 95% of your free throws. You've got to make a few extra threes that may, spin around the basket.
That's absolutely right. To beat BYU, to win at the Marriott Center, you're going to have to do those things, and the Aggies haven't done them.
And this is not a team. We're not talking about a 4-4 team. BYU team. This is a top 20 team.
Yep. They just went to 8-1 with this win, and they've beaten now 5 teams who made it to the NCAA tournament last year.
Yeah, that's impressive. And I think a lot of people look at the injuries they've had, but you saw tonight, they've got a lot of folks that can step up, that are capable of doing making different things happen for the team.
Well, you got a Johnson guy who's a defender and made a few big shots in the second half who can come off the bench. We see this freshman kid, a big muscle guy inside. He's not as tall as the guy they've missed, but I think he might be better getting things done. And how about making free throws? You're talking about we missed a bunch. He goes to the foul line and made every one of them.
Buries them all. I think the other thing that's interesting, what's his name, Loney.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed us in a couple of games, and tonight he really didn't have to.
Loner wasn't as much. Yeah, he wasn't as much tonight in the game. It was the Nell early in the game.
Yep.
That really got him off to the good start. And they didn't have to rely. And then Lucas had a really good stretch there. I thought at one stage in the first half he was doing it. Barcelo wasn't. I mean, they gave it to him at the end of the game. He made the drive, and he gets to the foul line. He's not going to miss. And I just thought that about Justin Bean, too. That's why I just am surprised that he went 1 out of 2 first half and then misses 2 in the second half.
With the presence and the impact their big guy had, are you surprised? And again, this goes to a text, 5662. What's your opinion on Zappala getting time over Dorius tonight?
Well, I thought Zappala had earned the time before, but there must have been something that the coach didn't feel like Zappala could play. The chasing game that BYU plays a lot, and they don't really have a post guy down inside. But Dorius wasn't effective at all tonight either in the game.
I think the advantage we would have had with Zappala is he can stretch the defensive a little bit.
He might be a little quicker.
Yeah.
Might be a little quicker to stay with it. But again, down inside, a guy that Traore really did do the job. He played at Wasatch Academy, I think it was, and then transferred into BYU, and that's where Loner also played.
One more comment from 2070. Our two guards, Ryland and Ashworth, shoot 0% from 3 when off balance. Their legs are always kicking forward. They don't hit until they get on balance. Sometimes you try and make plays. There was that 3 at the very end of the game. I think they were trying to draw a foul at that time. But when you're down, 7-9 points, and there's 30 seconds left, you've got to try something.
And Ashworth did make an off-balance runner against St. Mary's at one time in the game, so he can do that, and he's just trying to get something done there. I think the foul situation on those guys really did make a factor. And I've got to see, I'm starting now, it's getting to be a time where I got to see RJ Idlerock do some more. If he averaged 14 and played like he did at UMBC and defended, we've got to see the defense, and we got to see some stuff. He's having a tough time physically taking the ball to the basket and beating people, and he should beat people to the basket and get things done at the basket. He should.
Without a doubt.
Jones is not big enough to do that at times, but he should be.
Yeah, and he puts up the numbers like he did at UMBC, then I think we win 1-2 of these games, maybe even a third, and it's a difference maker. We have the best listeners around. This comes from 1326. Apology game was in 2011. We haven't won since.
Okay, so it was for sure 2011. I didn't know if it was the 2011 game or the 29 game. Yeah. So 0-9. I knew if it was that game, they're absolutely right on.
Haven't won since.
10 in a row. Yeah. Now with the loss tonight. We'll be back with more. 82-71 BYU the final. We'd love to have you join with us with texts or calls. It's 753-5868. The text line, again, is 339-0321. Game day on KVNU. Brought to you tonight by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. Remember, they have Carrier. They have other great heating needs. They have fireplace needs available there, too, as well. As we get to winter, 752-7272. Get your furnace checked.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Your team's in the locker room, ready to get out there and play to win. But you see a player you don't recognize. They're wearing your jersey and even know your coach's name. But who are they? Would you let this stranger look at your team's playbook? That's exactly how phishing attacks work. In 2020, the number of phishing attacks against businesses doubled compared to the previous year. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Open enrollment for individual health insurance is November 1st through January 15th. Coverage through the marketplace is still available, with more tax credits making it even more affordable. We'll help you navigate the marketplace, understand your plan options, and complete enrollment and save big. Trying it on your own can be frustrating. Let us help. Call 752-9493. There's no cost to work with us. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call 752-9493.
Experts tell us that the 3 areas of balance for proper health are exercise, nutrition, and sleep. This is Ryan, owner of My Mattress, and while My Mattress store can't really help with exercise and nutrition, we can help with better sleep. If a person started today to live a balanced life in health, exercise, and sleep, 3 things might happen. 1, we might throw away the bag of peanut M&Ms that we have stashed. 2, we might get up off the couch and exercise. And 3, we'd come buy a new mattress here at My Mattress.
Cold weather is here. Let the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah's fireplace category help you update your home with Heat and Glow's full line of gas or wood-burning products. Building a new home? Let the professionals at Advanced Fireplace and Stove design and install your fireplace. From traditional to modern, Heat and Glow has something for every design and every budget. Install a product that will allow your family to make memories for years to come. Stop by at their showroom or visit them at advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Post-game of Utah State's loss to BYU, like we said, 10 in a row at the Marriott Center now. The Aggies are 34-86. The last time they won there, I recall it was Spencer Nelson playing for the Aggies on December 18th of 2004. Now, it's only 6 in a row in the stretch that have been at the Marriott Center that the Aggies haven't won. Of course, they haven't won here since that game that's being talked about in 2011, and then the Vivint and the neutral site, which I guess is where the rotation goes next year, that hasn't been good for the Aggies either against BYU there.
No, it's not.
What about scores, John, of
Yeah,
other games tonight?
Got lots of things going on. Busy night in the Mountain West. The marquee matchup, battle of undefeated teams. Number 11 Arizona is just throttling Wyoming 83-57.
What was it? There 13, I think, undefeated teams or something like that in basketball going into the games tonight. And those were two of them.
And those were two of them. Wyoming will take the first loss. A couple of finals in the Mountain West. Air Force lost tonight to Montana.
That's their second loss.
66-48, though. Tough loss. And then several games late in the second. Fresno is down to San Francisco at San Francisco, 65-60. San Diego State barely holding on against Cal State Fullerton, 52-51. And looks like UNLV, they're running away from Seattle. They're up 69-51, about 3 minutes left in the second.
San Francisco's good, and so is St. Mary's, and so is Gonzaga, so is BYU. The WCC has got some teams. Now, we think the Mountain West is better this year, top to bottom. So is the WCC, for sure.
So it's certainly not looking like a loss, not going to be a bad one, but you need those little wins to help you out. Other in-state games of interest, Southern Utah, SUU ended up beating Utah Valley. Probably savoring that win over BYU a little too much. SUU wins 60-56. And in a game down in that was in Texas. Utah just struggled against TCU. TCU wins 76-62. And the Jazz end up beating up on Minnesota. Minnesota not as bad as they've been in years past, but Utah behind Donovan Mitchell's 36 points. They win 136-104 in Minnesota.
Ever since they lost that game to New Orleans at home, they've kind of played a little bit better and trying to get there. And you have to play well right now because Phoenix and Golden State are running away from everybody.
I don't know if
in the
either
West
is going to lose unless they lose to each other.
So, all right, one last break for us, and we'd love to have you join with us on our post-game Aggie Call coverage of Utah State's loss to BYU. We'll have the numbers from Cache Valley Bank. We always do the final stats for Cache Valley Bank. It's coming up next on Game Day on KVNU.
Stephen, stop dragging your feet. Don't you give me that look. You've had a bad attitude all day. Now, look, I know you'd rather be with your friends right now, but this has to be done. And either you start cooperating or I'm going to start taking things away from you. And I think you know what that means, don't you, Stephen?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Watch it.
Bigger isn't always better. At Castellite, you'll choose from a huge selection of pavers and receive help from experts. You'll see just how easy it is to do it yourself. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at Castellite.com.
What are you doing for your home medical supply needs? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. We sell the highest quality products in the industry, and your shopping experience with us will be unmatched. Get out and enjoy freedom with one of our many different power chairs. We'll make sure you have the best experience possible and that you can bring wellness home.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
'Tis the season, and if you're getting engaged, bring that special someone to S.E. Needham Jewelers. You'll love our extensive selection of beautiful engagement rings. Also, you'll select a diamond from Utah's largest selection of loose diamonds. You'll find a unique ring at an affordable price with diamonds direct from Antwerp, Belgium at internet pricing. It just doesn't get better.
And you may also take advantage of our 12-month interest-free financing.
Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
It's KVNU Game Day with Aggie Call. Call 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Again, like I said, for all the Aggie fans, my first lines tonight on our pregame is Utah State's been good enough. I mean, we know BYU is good, and they have been good. But, again, Utah State's good enough. They shouldn't lose 10 games in a row to BYU. Somewhere along the way, it's 5-on-5 and all of that kind of stuff. You know, numbers sometimes can make a difference in football and depth and all those things. But the Aggies should be able to break through here somewhere along the way, and it just doesn't happen. Tonight they have a chance because they're down 20. They make a rally. They have 5 straight free throws missed in a game that's sitting there just nothing going on, and they could have made it a one-possession game. And not to say that that wins the game. And, but again, tonight they lose 82-71 in the end, because after it was as close as 76-69 with 1:11 to go. Rylan Jones was the only guy for the Aggies who went to the foul line tonight and made 2 for 2.
Yeah.
He was the only guy.
Yeah. And you want that from your point guard. I have a couple of quick texts here that kind of follow up on that. And I think things like this, it frustrates fans because you don't want to lose. But from 5464, agreeing with our earlier comment about Idle Rock having to step up, he's going to have to do something. And whether he's better off being a starter and then others finishing the game, we'll see. That's up to the coach. But another comment, it's, another comment, regarding Miller. And,
Miller's 1 for 4 on threes tonight in the game. He had 1 rebound. 1 turnover. Didn't play enough time. He actually only had a -4, plus-minus in the game. Horvath's -2 is the best among any of the starters tonight.
But with Miller, I mean, he's the comment Miller is MIA again.
He was.
And,
3
what
points.
was interesting in this game, though, we usually see him on the floor at the end of the game, and Bairstow was the one that was on the floor as the game was winding down, so that was in question. Again, some concerns about Ryland. I see the same pattern that started happening at the U. No scoring, fouling, turnovers, liability, and irrelevant. I have a hard time with that liability and irrelevant.
He had 6 assists and 2 turnovers in the game. Yeah. His plus-minus was -6 playing the 25 minutes he did, and we were better in the second half when he could play more than he could play in the first half when he got the 2 fouls.
I would like to see more scoring from him.
I mean, I defend him because he's a friend of mine, and I really like him. But I also know, I've seen enough, you could see how he got – he did draw the 1 charge. He did get the technical because of the flop.
Yeah.
And when you looked at the replay, there was some contact on that play. But again, he's trying to draw it. He's drawn 12 charges this year. Ashworth drew 1 tonight as well. But you could just see him swipe the ball one time when a guy, he just knows where the handle is. And he picked up a lot of longer rebounds in the game tonight. He ended up with 3.
Yeah.
But he does have to score. He's strong enough and crafty enough and has played enough basketball. He knows when he drives down there, he shouldn't get his shot blocked on that one when the guys are trailing him when he's got that fast break.
He
needs
better.
to, and he can't elevate enough to dunk. Right. So he either needs to, he knows the game enough, he needs to pull it back and set up something with these guys, or do some kind of shot fake on them, have them all fly by and then score.
Or even develop that pull-out jumper, not getting all the way under the basket.
Mm-hmm.
But we go back to an earlier texter's comment. I mean, who is going to be that next guy? Is the next scorer? They said go-to. Bean is the go-to.
Yeah, and
Horvath, somebody's got to step up.
I mean, the coach is right. Horvath has averaged about 14. He ended up with 14 tonight. But he's been missing a couple of games where we haven't. But again, much better in the second half tonight for Brandon Horvath, as he made 4 out of 5 threes. He's going to get back among the national leaders again in his three-point shooting.
It's amazing. Great comment here from 5662. You know this better. What is the situation with the BYU series from here on in?
I would think that the deal was set up that we'd go neutral, home, and now we've gone to Utah State, BYU, so I would imagine neutral. I don't know that for sure. Maybe they won't go. There's no Beehive Classic anymore, but we still played them that one last time at Vivet. So I don't know if it'll turn out to be that way or not. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. I know they want to keep playing. I don't think they're not going to play.
I think
and
they
I would,
should.
and you know what? We probably should play Utah Valley.
Oh, yeah.
And, so, yeah. And we're going to have Weber State next week. Now, you had the Weber score.
Yeah, I sure did. Weber doing their best to kind of hang in there, but just Washington State's kind of pulling away with about 4 minutes left in the second. Weber's in Pullman, and the Cougars are up 78-57, so they're running away with it.
So next Wednesday at Weber State, and next Saturday, Iowa, in the night of the bowl game, which will get overshadowed. They're going to play Iowa. So BYU's playing Creighton in that Pentagon this weekend, and then we play Iowa there the next weekend.
Yeah. It'll be a good matchup, and Aggie fans, I know this is kind of painful right now, but at this point, you want to root for BYU. You want them to play well. That helps us, with our RPI and our overall net ranking.
Okay, here's the final stats then in the game, brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. And we had Horvath with 14, 5 of 7, but 4 of 5 from 3. Did miss the 2 free throws. 7 rebounds. He did have 4 assists with 1 turnover and 2 block shots. Idle Rock was 2 of 5, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 4 free throws, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Ryland Jones had 7 with 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. And Miller had 3 points on 1 of 4 from 3. He had a rebound and a turnover in 23 minutes. Bean, 20. He did become the 36th leading scorer for Utah State, passing Vince Washington. He now needs 2 points to pass Desmond Pinniger to go to the next spot. Number 35 in scoring there. Bean with 20. He did have only 7 rebounds, so he doesn't get another double-double. That's 2 times this year that hasn't happened. He was 8 of 12, 1 of 2 from 3, 3 of 6 from the foul line for Bean. Very uncharacteristic. He did have 3 assists, he had 3 turnovers, and he had 3 steals. Bairstow was 5 of 8, missed 3 threes. So he made all of his 2s, but 1 for 4 at the foul line for Bairstow, too. 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers. And then Ashworth made 9 points, 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 1 of 2 free throws, 4 rebounds. He had 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals. And Shulga, 3 minutes. Doria, 6 minutes off of the bench. So the Aggies did get 20 from the bench, but 30 for BYU's bench in this game tonight. And in the end for BYU, leading scorer was Borsella with 17. But look at the help as Triare ended up with 14, 3 of 4 from the field, 8 for 8 at the foul line, 4 rebounds. And then Lucas had 14, 5 of 11 shooting, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He did have 5 turnovers. And Nell had the 13. He had, I think he had 12 in the first half or something like that. 5 out of 6 shooting threes with his 4 rebounds as well. Knight had 3. Lohner had 5. Erickson had 3. George had 5. Johnson had 8. So the Aggies lose their first true road game of the year. They had been 4-0 away from Logan. The Ags, again, when they score 70, had won every game this year. But BYU goes to 5-0 now at home, and they get Creighton this weekend. And we get the Privateers of New Orleans coming in. It seems like they came and played here.
It was a while ago, maybe.
Maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago or something. We'll have to look that up. But they're 3-6 on the season right now. The Privateers are with their season. They have a guy who is, in the top group in scores in the nation, Derek St. Hilaire. He averages 20 points a game. He's made 23s in their 9 games. And they have one other guy in Troy Green who averages 13. They don't shoot a lot of threes compared to a lot of teams. They're 46% shooters. They get out-rebounded by about 2 rebounds a game. And they score 72 and give up 73 in their 3-6.
Well, this is where a good, fundamentally sound Utah State team should come in and be able to take care of business.
They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to Rice. They lost to Texas A&M. They lost to Louisiana. The only game that was close that they lost is to Presbyterian by 2. They lost to Rice by 5. That's their closest. They've beaten Central Arkansas, VMI, and Spring Hill up until now. So there you go.
Let's bounce back.
Okay. That's it for the final stats. As we mentioned, Cache Valley Bank now in Preston to go along with their other locations. We appreciate also West Point Dairy. Remember, they're looking for workers. 25 years they've been making butter here in the valley, shipping it all over the world. West Point Dairy, 213 $95.95 if you'd like to work for them. They start at $18 an hour. So thank you, texters. Thank you, Jalen Moore. Thank you, Kyle Cottom, for getting the coach and Sean Bairstow on from Provo. Thank you, John Russell. We'll see you Saturday. We'll have Logan High basketball Friday. I'll be back on with that with Park City on Friday night. Incidentally, tonight, Green Canyon beat Tooele, and Roy beat Bear River in high school basketball. And the Aggies lose to BYU again, 82-71. All right, that's it for our show for tonight. We'll join, again, the Jim Bohannon program in progress for a couple of minutes here on KVNU this hour. Should have been